Disney's The Haunted Mansion ride is a masterpiece down to the smallest details. Even the wallpaper pattern, meant to be a subtle yet unnerving background element, has become iconic, beloved even, and can be purchased on a slew of merchandise items online and in the parks. But the history of this whimsical wall dressing can be traced back much further, through a horror movie masterpiece to a disturbing yellow wallpaper found in an early American feminist work of literature.
There are things in that paper that nobody knows but me, or ever will.
And now, bringing it back to today, the wallpaper and Disneyland ride have a personal tie for me, and a technique that I've learned to use to deal with anxiety when it pops up. Hello, my name is Kevin Harris, and I help people understand themselves by helping them understand the stories that resonate with them. Someone once joked that I could find deep meaning in a candy wrapper, and while that's probably true, I want to get granular about something else that's equally exciting: wallpaper. But not just any wallpaper, the kooky and creepy purple wallpaper found within the dark hallways of Disney's Haunted Mansion, and especially the connections it has with the 1963 horror masterpiece, The Haunting, based on the book by Shirley Jackson, and then tie it further back to 1892, when an early feminist author, Charlotte Perkins Gilman, made quite the stir with her horrifying short story entitled The Yellow Wallpaper. There have been several attempts to create a movie to complement the Haunted Mansion ride, and in each version the famous wallpaper has been showcased. There's actually more than one wallpaper in the Haunted Mansion. At the beginning, the wallpaper is a fairly normal reproduction of a popular design of the era. But after descending further into the mansion and further into madness, the floral pattern changes or morphs into the creepy faces that seem to watch you as you glide by in your doom buggy.
We're going to have man-eating plants.
Credit is often given to Disney Imagineer Rolly Crump for these cute and malevolent characters.
And everybody came up to me and said, "We knew that the stuff you did was too weird for Walt, that he wouldn't like it." And I said, "I know, but I had fun with it."
And he deserves a lot of credit, but Rolly Crump never intended for his Plant Man designs to be used for wallpaper. It was lead Imagineer and show producer Claude Coates who eventually repurposed Rolly Crump's drawings for the project. But Rolly's was not the only artwork considered. We know that Dorothea Redmond also painted variations of eyes looking out of the walls in her concept art for the Haunted Mansion. Where did Claude Coates get his idea for the spooky wallpaper from? Most likely from the movie The Haunting, which had come out only a couple years earlier and had even been shown at a special screening for the Disney Imagineers in 1965. Most, if not all, of the Imagineers working on the project saw this disturbing masterpiece of a film. The director of the movie, Robert Weiss, who filmed West Side Story 2 years before this and The Sound of Music immediately after, chose not to shoot it in color. It is about 4 people who decide to stay at a foreboding old house to research paranormal activity that is reported to occur there. Several elements from that film ended up in the Haunted Mansion. A memorable and nightmare-inducing scene occurs while the camera zooms in uncomfortably close to a detail on the wall of a bedroom. A face made from plant leaves seems to be glaring out at Eleanor, one of the people staying in the old house.
We're going to have man-eating plants.
Charlotte Perkins Gilman was a feminist writer and lecturer at the turn of the century who wrote a semi-autobiographical short story called The Yellow Wallpaper. In it, a depressed and anxious woman is put on bed rest and confined to an upstairs room by her husband and brother, who are both doctors. The woman, trusting that these men know what is best for her, slowly goes stir-crazy and begins having hallucinations about the yellow-torn wallpaper in her room.
It is like a woman stooping down and creeping about behind that pattern, as if she wanted to get out.
It is a truly disturbing and telling story about women being silenced and treated as less competent. The short story resonated at the time and has continued to disturb readers ever since.
Nobody could climb through that pattern. It strangles so.
There are many inspirations for the Haunted Mansion's wallpaper, but according to the book Boundless Realm by Fox Nolte, all of the sources ultimately descended from Charlotte Gilman's The Yellow Wallpaper. We are each, in a sense, surrounded and limited by our own walls. What do your walls say about you? Are they protecting you or restricting you? Or both? haunted houses can be a metaphor for our own minds and the fears and memories we have locked away and tried to forget about. It may be time to do a spring cleaning. When I was a child, I was scared of everything, and maybe still am a little, and so going through the Haunted Mansion ride and not being scared to death was a big deal for me. So much so that it became my favorite ride and still is. Even today, when I feel fear and anxiety creeping into my mind and under my skin, my mind will take me back to the Haunted Mansion where I have already conquered fear. I remind myself that the faces on the walls are separate from me, and I am merely gliding past in my doom buggy. The feeling of being trapped is just part of the ride and will be over soon, and I don't need to focus on it. I can anticipate the swinging wake of a party that is happening at the end of the ride. And that is the moral of the story.